Hummus and pita, red wine. Kibe, beef tongue. Veal shoulder. Lamb kebab, salmon, chicken liver. Attack. Oh, sorry.
You know, leave your family, leave your friends, leave your land, and you go to a place that I will show you. And so Abraham was obedient. Of course, there was the promise that God said, if you do that, I will bless you and give you many descendants. And so as he went, you know, and went to the land and went to this land. So then you think just a few chapters later, you know, where Abraham, you know, just as Joni was telling us, that he went to go rescue his nephew Lot. Of course, he was staying in Sodom, and you know, and that's where Abraham said, you know, if there are, you know, starting out with 50 righteous people, yes, you know, in the city, will you not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? And God said yes. He goes, how about 40? How about 30? How about 20? And then, you know, it was finally just, you can get your family out. And so as he goes to rescue Lot, these are the actual gates right here. And so, you know, don't miss the significance of God's first promise, you know, came through Abraham that blessed all people. And this is part of his story and the gates that we have. So.
We're entering, we want to enter the city. They already, I want two elements of the city are in the gates. And this is where they make a decision. Now let's move everybody to the side because we have other groups coming in. So I'll go all to one side. And there were a canopy here. And this is showing you the bottom part, and it would have been tall, and he would have been sitting under a luxurious shade.
I should say up to Jerusalem, and the only way he's doing that is giving them a source of worship. Now, why a golden calf? Do you remember very quickly when they were coming out of Egypt, they made themselves a golden calf? Well, that became synonymous with the fertility, the protection. That became a god alternative to Yahweh. And so that became their worship. And so what we're seeing here is the...
saying that, you know, that temptation was... You see that evil man who turned into There's a joke about that later. So, anyway, let's take our focus on what it should be. God is greater. Praise God. Not the evil one. Every time you say, you're giving him praise. You're saying he's got the victory over you. Not that God has the victory over you. Do you have something to say?
And King Saul, because he did evil in the eyes of the Lord, God removed him. And David was installed in place of Saul. And of course, David was the greatest king. Well, David, as you remember, has an affair with Bathsheba, and he ends up marrying her, and that child that he had an affair with died. But then the second son of Bathsheba is Solomon. and Solomon becomes the next king of Israel. And so Solomon is the king. Solomon's the one who builds the temple. But because, Solomon turned away from the Lord at the end of his life. Remember, he had 300 wives, 700 concubines. All of that was trying to consolidate power with all of the other kings. The kingdom was split in two. And so we have the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Okay? And so Jeroboam and Rehoboam become the kings of the northern and southern kingdom. And so up here we have Jeroboam, right? So Jeroboam, his fear was so for the Israelites, they were supposed to offer their sacrifices in Jerusalem, at the temple, at the altar. Okay, so this is made to be the same size as the altar, but for Jeroboam, he was afraid if they go down to Jerusalem, they're going to like it better there, and they're not going to come back. And so a king without a kingdom is without his people is really not a kingdom.
Every place we speak up there was another temple. And then she divided that, and then later it comes through. So this is before Christ, and then it comes again after Christ, until the night.
And as he's talking to them, you remember, there is all kinds of people who have all of these opinions about Jesus. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody? Okay, good. That they have all of these opinions about, about who Jesus is, and so Jesus brings them, and so if you can just kind of imagine yourself, you're one of the 12 disciples, and you've been brought up to this area, and so this is the temple of the pan god, and so the pan god represented half man and half goat. So there in these rocks they would have all of these idols up there, because again, this is a temple. This is where all of this pagan idolatry is happening. All of these things. The entrance into that cave was called Hades. So the gates of Hades right here. This is what that was all called. So now, let me just read this passage for you. It's out of Matthew chapter 16, and so for you to begin to get this, because Jesus is trying to reveal to his disciples who he is, and they don't get it, right? They're slow to get it. They're just like us. This is what I love about the disciples, is that they're just like you and me, that they don't quite understand it and get it. But so in Matthew chapter 16, I'm going to start in verse 13. It says, when Jesus came to the region of Caeserea Philippi, so we're there right now, he asked his disciples, who do people say the Son of Man is? They replied, some say John the Baptist, others Elijah, still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. Because that was all prophecy. That there was a prophecy that Elijah had to come and usher the way. So they're going, oh, you are one of these great prophets that's supposed to usher in the way. And so, but Jesus asked them, he said, but what about you? Who do you say that I am? So everybody has these opinions. Everybody's talking about this rabbi who is healing people. He's traveling around the Sea of Galilee. He's teaching in all of the synagogues. And Jesus wants to get them away from all of that. He wants to bring them into the middle of idolatry, in the middle of pagan worship, in the middle of this place right here that, the disciples had to feel so uncomfortable. What are we doing here, Jesus? Why would you bring us up here? Because Jesus wants to show this contrast of who he is and what his kingdom is about. And this is where Simon Peter answered. Jesus says, who do you say that I am? Simon Peter answered, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. He makes the confession of all confessions, that I believe you're the Messiah. You are the promised one who is supposed to come, that has been talked about since Abraham, that I'm going to bless all people, you are the one. Jesus replied, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah. For this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock," so it's not, the Catholics would say that Peter is the rock. That they say he's the first pope. What Jesus is saying is, upon that confession of which you've just made, that I am the Messiah, the Son of God, upon that confession, I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. So they're sitting at the gates of Hades. The gates of Hades will not overcome it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Then he ordered his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. And so then listen to this. So now Jesus has revealed to his disciples, I am the one. From that time on, Jesus began to explain to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem to suffer many things at the hands of the elders and the chief priests and the teachers of the law, and that he must be killed and on the third day raised to life. And Peter took Jesus aside. So they're heading towards Jerusalem knowing that he's going to die. So Peter's just made this incredible confession. And Peter took him aside. He wants to have a quiet moment with Jesus, and he rebukes him. "Never, Lord," he said, "this shall never happen to you." And Jesus turned to Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block. You do not have in mind the things of God that human concerns." And Jesus says, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me. Whoever wants to save their life will lose it. Whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world and yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul?" And so
I know. Never fails. Doing the whole contact first. Right too.
Alrighty.
That's all the protein.
M&M's, catch it in your mouth. Scary movie now.
Excuse me. Sorry, thank you.
Ooh.
Yes.
Whatever you eat.